Yes, my people, Wayman telling me, and I think this trade will probably be trade of the week. I'm not trading Friday, which is today, so I might as well just make the video. So right now on gold, price is, I mean, we could still say price is bullish if we was on the daily, but we're not on the daily, unfortunately. And right now, I will say that price is bearish. And yes, a lot of people would have probably had the MSB from this high here. So yes, you can still say that price is pulling back. Where this is your one, this is your two, three, four, and your five. So either way, even if my bias was bullish, I will still have to wait for price to get above the SMA, and then I can start looking for a trade long to match this hypothesis. Until then, for me personally, I think that we're bearish. One, the SMA is telling me that, but also two, technically, what we've been doing is we have taken out this high, we have taken out this high, and we have also taken out these highs. And all of these three are validated swing highs, so I know that at one point, this was a protector low, this was a protector low, and this was a protector low. So we have clearly flipped there with a market structure shift or change of character, as some of you might call it. So now for me, price is bearish. So now I'll prefer to look for shorts. However, if the long opportunity arises on a lower time frame, then why not? So now that's out of the way, and I've got some sort of narrative in terms of what price is potentially trying to do, we go down to my lower time frame. So on my lower time frame, we can actually see that price was bullish once upon a time, and now we are bearish. So we took out this high, and then we ended up taking out the low. So that's a market structure shift, and then we traded above the high, which is a sweep. So I'll use it as a sweep, and obviously price has now closed below our lower low. So I already know that price is still very, I wouldn't say very bearish, but I will say that price is bearish. So that's now the confirmed flip. We've had a sweep from this high, so we now know that this is a strong lower low the minute we closed it, and this is now going to be a strong protected high. So price should respect this high and continue to make lower lows and lower highs. So we are below the SMAs, and where's my last up down movement? This area here is my last up down movement, which is also called the SNDR. So what I'd like is for price to potentially tap into this, give me some sort of reaction, and then hopefully we make our way back down. So when we let price play out, so we finally made a lower low in terms of, this is my lowest candle, because this candle is lower than the one to the left and then one to the right, but this candle's wick is contained. So I still need for price to close above this high first in order for this to be a validated swing low, and we finally get that. So I now know that this is my weak low, and this is the low that I would like for price to run. So anything else will be internal structure. So now we're trading from this low, and we are trading from this high. So everything inside of this is just internal structure. So right now it looks like price is tapped into my SNDR, and for those of you that know, SNDR slash origins are a zone within a zone, so you can look for SBS within those zones. So essentially I will have to use, probably not ideal, but I will have to use this candle's wick, this one here, as my one, this candle as my two, because that's the tap back in, this candle here as my three. Obviously now we've swept 4 and 5. So now there's a possibility that what price is going to do, tap into something, which is obviously our SNDR. We've had our SBS, we've had our sweep. So now I just gotta wait and see how price respects this area here, and see if we're gonna push down from this SNDR or not. If that's not the case, I understand that price might still want to tap into the unmitigated move origin first, and then potentially make its way back down. Until then, I'm only going to react to what the market gives me. So we have now actually swept, and I mean, there are two ways you could do this. You could put your fib from this high to this low, and we can see that price doesn't quite tap the 618. Or you could draw your fib from this low, this SNDR low, to our zone week low, because you understand that our areas of interest, SNDRs, automatic moving averages, are zones within our zone. So we can always use that area where price should respect this area and obviously make its way back down. So in terms of 618, potentially are in this trade. Of course, if using a bigger zone, then you haven't quite been tagged in. And then when we let price play out, you can see we keep pushing higher. And now, where was it? Okay, perfect. So okay, so a lot of people would have had this as a market structure shift internally, right? And then obviously we can see that price doesn't actually close above that. And the reason why I didn't have this drawn out was because this is not a validated swing high. This bullish candle here only closed after. We didn't close before it first. We only closed after. So I can't use this as an area, but I can use this as an area of liquidity, where price swept these highs, fell to close above the high, respected the 200 SMA. So now, essentially, I just have to wait for another MSB here. So now, this is a better shift to use compared to this one here. Yes, you could have used it, but for me personally, it wasn't valid, so I didn't want to try and use this. I'd rather just wait for price to flip, and then I'll start to look for something. So again, a lot of people would have said, oh, but what about this one here? If you wanted to use that one there, be my guest. But for me personally, I wasn't interested in looking for anything within here anyways. I would have preferred for something within here. So we can see that price came lower, and we have failed to take the lower lows. That doesn't mean that price, this is a weak high. The only time you know that this will be a weak high is when we disrespect it. Because someone did ask in the Discord group, oh, how comes price didn't disrespect the high? Well, it was a strong high. If it wasn't a strong high, then we would have disrespected it. So in terms of entry confirmation, let me just drop my SBS. So we had our 1, we had our 2, we had our 3, we had our 4, and we had our 5. Obviously we had our sweep over here. So there's always a chance that price wants to, continue lower. And I mean, in terms of CSS, this is my last up candle, and we can clearly see how price has tapped in here. So if you wanted to use a sell stop from this area here with the stop just above the high, you could have been my guest, and obviously you'll target whatever. For me personally, I was looking at this wick fractal. So for those of you that know, a wick fractal is just an area of a hidden supply and demand. So for me, there's always a chance that price will tap into this wick fractal, and then I can actually look for something that takes me lower. So in this case here, we tap back in, and then I used a sell stop with my stop above the wick fractal high, and then I targeted just a 2R, and then when we let price play out, obviously that one with flying colors. So just going back and we just zoom out, we can clearly see how price was bullish, price flipped bearish, price failed to take out our protected high, which is a liquidity sweep, took out some people's stops, Then price flipped again, giving us that confirmed flip. We tapped into an area of interest, which was the S&DR. We had a S&DR SBS where we had our 1, 2, 3. We swept again, taking our early sellers, and then obviously you could say, yeah, we had a flip potentially, and then we had a confirmed flip. Within that confirmed flip, what had we done? We had our SBS combo within that flip, and within that flip, we tapped areas of interest. So we already understand that this is an area of supply and demand. So this is potentially the unmitigated move origin. You might call it SBS. I don't really care. However, we did tap into an area of interest, and now yes, you could have used the CSS to get yourself in, and you would have won in flying colors. You could have used the wick fractal to get yourself in, and that would have been flying colors. You could have used the 618 to get yourself in. Yes, you would have hit a little bit of drawdown. However, remember, price still has to respect this internal protected high. Until we disrespect this internal protected high, price should remain bearish. And if I get out my RSI, because I think we had one here. So look here, this is higher. I mean, this is lower, and this one here is higher. So I already know that this was a fake MSB, because if you go to a lower time frame, you'll be able to see it. So where is it? So on our lower time frame, on the 1 minute time frame, sorry, can you see how this is a higher high here, and then this is a lower low? So already I know that this is a fake MSB, where price took this out, and what happened? We flipped bearish straight away. So yeah, so you can even add that to you can even add it as an extra confluence to help you with a hypothesis. And let's say you didn't use the 5 minute solely and use the 1 minute, then you had a flip, confirmed flip. Within that confirmed flip, you had SBS, and then what happened? We tapped what's it called, into this unmitigated move origin, or just an area of supply and demand. Lit that was hovering around the 200 SMA. However, price still was able to deliver. And let's say you didn't want to partake in that, then based off the 1 minute chart, then price took out these lows, and now you have your 1, 2, 3, where we tapped into this area here, 4, 5, and obviously price distributed lower, and then that could have been you done for the day. But just to go back to the 5 minute chart, we can see now that price makes its way lower. So now we've officially taken out our week low, which is now a MSB. And within this, what did we end up doing? We ended up tapping into this area of supply and demand, and we can see all the S&DR if you want to be more specific, and we can see that how price reacted from it, and obviously start to make low lows and low highs. Obviously, if you go to our 1 minute time frame, we can see how it is clearing an area of supply and demand, where now potentially this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, this is your 4, and this is your 5, and then maybe your entry confirmation will be from this CSS. Yeah, and maybe your entry confirmation will come from this last up down candle. Actually no, let me just zoom in, double check that. Okay, so maybe your confirmation will come from this candle here. This is your last up down candle, where we've closed below. We closed below. We do tap the 30%. So yes, you could have used a sell stop at the low of that, stop at the high, and obviously you would have targeted whatever. Again, if we're looking at IBs, do we get any? This is an IB candle here. This is the IB candle right there. So yes, if you want to take a shorts from here, you can stop at the high of this with a sell stop, and obviously price still delivers. So when you're on the right side of the market and you're looking for the right things, then you're gonna be alright. To be fair, to be fair, I think this was trade of the week. This one especially, and obviously the continuation. But that's it from today. This video is a little bit longer. I do apologize for that. But victory belongs to the most tenacious, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace, ciao, and love, my people.